Okay, so we are up to day 187, going through my old journal. See if we can get the quote here in front of Monty. Oh, so the quote for today says, I was smart enough to go through any door that opened. Hold on. I was smart enough to go through any door that opened. Have you gone through every door that is open for you? Do you think that's always a good idea? Why or why not? So if you're following along, just take a minute, maybe pause and think about how you might respond to this, and I will read what I wrote. So I said, I think so. I've pretty much done whatever I wanted throughout my life. If an opportunity arose, I would generally take it. Although I feel like it was a bit less risky to do that at a younger age. Like the types of opportunities that arose were more short-term and less committed than I feel like some of the more adult opportunities are. For instance, college. Yes, it's a big commitment, but only for a relatively short amount of time. There's a finish line to it. And there's also the option to change majors. But for adult things like buying a house or starting a business or a family, those seem like such big commitments that I'm hesitant to walk through some of those doors. And I've said this a million times throughout this series. I said, I feel like I'm getting a bit closer to walking through the door of starting a business, but I'm not quite ready yet. The opportunity is presenting itself in the form of a partner willing to finance it, but I'm not sure that I'm ready to take on the full responsibility of sticking to one major goal for the rest of my adult working life. So yeah, like I do have, I've had some opportunities come at me and I just was like, no. So I don't know if I've really talked about this, but there was a time like several years ago that I was really into like hydroponics and aquaponics. And I spent a lot of time researching that and going to workshops, and I thought I wanted to have like a hydroponic farm, and I had all this equipment and I'd done some growing here or there, but I don't think I'm good at like growing plants. But several people like knew that that I had experience in that. And so for instance, for the past few years, there's been like this growing, a lot of states have started legalizing like medical marijuana. We actually legalized it in my state a couple years ago. And when that happened, I had several people actually reach out to me wanting to get something going with that. But I knew that I could probably get involved in that, but I just didn't go forward with any of that. And then I've also got someone who is doing well off financially and, thinks that I'm bright and is willing to like invest in whatever I want to do really. But I'm scared to do that. Like I'm scared to like bring other people in and have like that committed thing of like, I've got to do this well. And I've seen other people that are similar to me that are pretty smart and have tried to start things similar to what I would want to do, and they end up getting like kind of screwed over by getting involved in these like kind of risky financial things that, you've got someone coming in and saying like, I'm going to invest and I'm going to do this and that, and then they end up losing everything that they built prior to that because of like getting into these deals with other people. So I am pretty hesitant to do that unless I'm like really sure of what I would want to do. So yeah, I don't know that I would walk through any door, but I think I talked a few days ago about like planting your garden, and I said how I've kind of planted all of these seeds all over the place. So I feel like I have a lot of potential doors that could be open to me. And mine like when I was younger, I was like, yeah, let me jump on this. I want to do this. Let me just go and do this. And I did all these things, but when you're young, there are like a lot of short-term opportunities. And like when I went to work for Disney, or when I traveled to Europe or when I studied in Europe. Like those were all just kind of things that like sprung at me, and I was like, yeah, let's go. And I just jumped right into it. But there's been a couple of other things that I've jumped into, and then I was like, oh man, like, no, this is like a long-term commitment and this is stressing me out and I want to get out of it. So I am more hesitant to kind of just jump into these big opportunities now that I'm a little bit older. But I do think there's a lot of doors, like I planted the seeds to have like a lot of doors available to me. So yeah, I guess to answer the question, I think it depends. Sometimes it is a good thing to just take risks and just, you know, if a door opens, just go for it. But then I don't think it's good to just do everything that comes at you all the time, especially if it's something that is more of a long-term thing or one that could, you know, potentially harm you, especially financially, for a while. So yeah, I guess that's what I have for that. So I will be back tomorrow with day 188.